Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today I am back with 10 more awesome movies you've never seen. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so you wanted more, I got more. I told you I have watched a shit ton of movies in my life, and a lot of them you might have missed. So these are maybe some movies you looked over, forgotten, or maybe you have never seen them before. And in full disclosure, like always, I don't have them all on physical media. I've had all these movies at one point or the other, but I don't always have them all. And these are in no particular order. They're not like a top 10 ranking or anything like that. This is just 10 movies I think that are definitely worth your time to check out. And we're going to go through them pretty quick. I'm not going to hold you up, let you find the top 10. So let's just jump right into it with this one's almost kind of like a bonus. So maybe say there's 11 here. We'll see at the end because I think this one a lot of people maybe have seen, and I don't have this one on physical media, but I am talking about Ponti Poool. Now, if you've never seen Ponti Poool, it has one of my favorite sort of tropes or gimmicks for a horror movie, which is it has a radio DJ that is narrating a lot of what's happening. And in this case, there is like a zombie apocalypse going on outside, and it's progressively getting worse and worse. And we are on the inside of this radio station, and we don't really have a lot of info from the outside. What they get in, they put back out, but they're not outside themselves. We're kind of locked into this radio station. So it progresses and gets worse and worse and worse. And I thought it was a really cool concept. And I love the whole radio DJ. And like I said, this one is one that I would think that some of you probably have seen. But some of you maybe not, and it's available on streaming. And I'm not sure if this has a physical media release or not. So you guys let me know. I didn't check that out beforehand because I wasn't going to put it on the list. But it is one that I've had popped in my head here recently. So check out Ponti Poool, and I think you'll kind of enjoy it. It's a little bit different. Okay, the next one up on the list is one that I have to put in because one of my friends, really good friends, Chelsea, is in this movie. And this is a Nicolas Cage and Willem Dafoe movie that is sort of like a crime drama. And I'm talking about Dog Eat Dog. So this one's just from several years ago. And it's a Paul Schrader film. And it's sort of like, I don't, it's like a crime drama, but Nicolas Cage and Willem Dafoe are hired to like kidnap this baby and hold it for like a big ransom, and things kind of go wrong. And what happens is they end up being like wanted by the mob and by the police. And my friend Chelsea actually plays a stripper in this movie, and you definitely have to check it out. It's like I'm not the biggest on like crime dramas and everything else. So like but I'm a big Nick Cage fan, and Willem Dafoe has a shit ton of range. Dude's good in everything he's in as well. So you have two really good actors in there, and then my friend is in the movie. So of course I gotta talk about it a little bit. And yeah, I mean it's kind of exactly what I said. There's not like a huge bunch of twists and turns as far off the plot from that. But if you're a Nick Cage fan, Willem Dafoe fan, you want to see some good dancing girls and like a crime caper with the mob and the police and everything else, then Dog Eat Dog. There you go. All right. Next up on my list is another one that I do not have, but boy, am I going to find it, because I've seen this movie probably 4 or 5 times, and I didn't write down the years that all these came out. But this movie is an independent film, and it's a horror anthology called Southbound. And oh, it is twisted. man. And it's dark, and it's got a good little mystery kind of going to it with a wraparound story. It throws you into it. In the first story, there's like these two guys, and you don't know what's happened, but they're kind of bleeding, got blood on them, and they're in this old truck in the middle of this nowhere area. So it feels like one of those creepy road movies because they're out on this road in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, and there's like one little creepy old worn out gas station that stands there in the middle of nowhere. And they stop to get gas and everything, and then they drive off, and they're driving, and they're driving in a straight line away from it, but then they come back up to it again. And then they start to realize no matter how far or fast they drive, they can't get out. They just keep coming right back to the store. Then they notice there's like these Grim Reaper looking demons that are floating out watching everything that they do. And that is sort of where it launches you into the story. And of course, it's an anthology, so they do kind of connect with a wraparound story. It is pretty creepy. And the minute that, like, I don't know what it is with things that just really make you think and that are super creepy. But for me, when they drove off and they're driving in a straight line all this time talking, and then they keep coming back to the same place, man, I'm in. At that point, that's creepy. I want to uncover the creepy mystery, what's going on. Absolutely loved it. Southbound, check it out. All right, next up on the list goes a little bit lighter, and this is like an old rom-com from the mid-90s or late 90s with maybe it's 2000 with a little bit of a horror, or not a horror, but a supernatural twist. And this stars Sarah Michelle Gellar and Sean Patrick Flanery, and I am talking about Simply Irresistible. Now, you may not have ever heard of this movie, but in this movie, let's see, what year was this? 1999. So it was late 90s. So this would have been like after season 2 or 3 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So she was at her very, very popular level right there, Sarah Michelle Gellar. But she is a cook. She's a cook, and she's like a pastry cook, I believe it is, chef, excuse me. And she's in love with this guy, Sean Patrick Flanery, and somehow she gets like these magic powers, and she keeps transferring her feelings through this magic into the food that she sells. So of course she becomes like this great sensation because these people, when she's happy, she's putting all this into the food, and they're loving it. And it says, beautiful restaurant owner Amanda Shelton is falling head over heels for handsome, hardworking executive Tom Bartlett. Tom is too busy to recognize that she's truly the girl of his dreams until Amanda puts him under her tantalizing spell. I mean, it has a little bit of a Hallmark movie to it, a little bit, but it's like a forgotten film for Sarah Michelle Gellar. And, it's one, if you're in that rom-com mood, but you want a little bit of supernatural element to it, you can check out Simply Irresistible. And guys, you can take one for the team if, you need a little break from the horror, and watch Simply Irresistible. All right. Next up on this list, and I think I wrote down too many, is another one that is in sort of this one's more in a raunchy comedy territory. And it was pretty popular a handful of years ago, so maybe this is one you've seen, but I could understand you missing it. This one is from 2010. I'm talking about She's Out of My League. I absolutely love this movie. Okay. This is, as you can see, I've had it for a while. It's another one of those DVDs that I bought previously viewed there from Hollywood Video. Sweet and raunchy. A perfect blend of the sweet and raunchy. I think that's a perfect way to describe this. Jay Baruchel. Is that how you say his name? I never can say his name. He's like a nerdy guy. He's in love with this one chick who he's always dated, and she thinks she's too good for him, and she's like a she's whatever. Um, and his family kind of is down on him. He's just kind of like a goofy, awkward loser. But he falls in love with this girl who he thinks would never love him. And I just totally blocked out what her real name is. Let's see. Alice Eve. Pooh, totally lost it. She plays Molly in the movie, which is an interesting name. But she is, of course, gorgeous in the film and way out of his league. But she's coming off a relationship and she's tired of these like douchebag guys, and he's super nice. And he goes out of his way to be nice to her, and they go out on a date, and he thinks that she's totally like not that into him at all. He doesn't believe she's into him. He thinks she's trying to hook him up with one of her friends, but turns out that that's not the case. But he has to get over his own lack of self-confidence in order to even be with her. And it definitely is raunchy and fun, but it has some sweetness to it too. I really enjoy this movie. She's out of my league. All right. Next up on the list is another one that I don't have, unfortunately, but I have the imprint release of this ordered. Didn't get here before I needed to do the video, but I am talking about Fire in the Sky, Travis Walton story. I had this on VHS, and I actually had this on DVD, and I had an English Bulldog champ who proceeded to eat it. And he actually ate a couple copies of Police Academy on DVD too. But he, in the movie, I'm getting like a bunch of messages coming through right now. That's my wife. Like, did you just send me to voicemail? I'm like, I'm recording. But in the movie, Fire in the Sky, it's based on the true story of the Travis Walton story, where he was abducted by aliens. It's like a group of loggers, and it's like in the Great Northwest, like in Washington State or whatever. Robert Patrick is also in this movie. Is it Craig Schaefer, who plays a Nightbreed? He's in this movie. It has a D.B. Sweeney plays Patrick Travis Walton, and it is genuinely creepy, made all the more creepy by the fact that all of those guys that witnessed this abduction passed multiple polygraph tests. So it is definitely got that sort of did it happen sci-fi. Like I believe that there's stuff out there for sure. So I'm definitely into watching anything like that. And I think there's stuff out there. And this one, like the way he is in the movie, like the on ship when he's abducted is just super messed up and creepy. And then when he gets back, I don't know. I think it's a good sci-fi mystery, and then you add the realism to it. I enjoy Fire in the Sky. Can't wait to get that from Imprint. All right. Next one up, I also do not have, and that is one that you guys may not know this, but like I have done a channel because I'm a huge theme park fan. I met my wife at Disney World. I live in Georgia, so we drive down to Universal Studios and to Disney all the time, and I'll vlog from down there. I've done that on another channel before for fun, and I really like this. There's an independent film called Escape from Tomorrow, and it was filmed in Disney World and Disneyland without Disney's permission, and it actually got into Sundance. And so it's like all, like it's handheld style, but what they were able to do and get away with, and Disney couldn't really fight it because there are no rules that says you can't film inside Disney. So they filmed inside Disney. There's no reasonable right to privacy in a public place. So Disney chose not to even fight it because it's a horror film, but it's so satirical. There's no way they would have won because they have no people have no right to privacy in a public place like that. And there's nothing that says you can't film in there. And it's too satirical, and the horror in it is there to where they can't say, oh, well, you could legitimately hurt our IP. But it is twisted. And if you've ever been like on It's a Small World and you thought, man, these little dolls are creepy or whatever, it shows them turn demonic. Dude sees demons. I think he had to ride It's a Small World like 24 times in a row to get the footage. And there's like evil queen hookers in the movie that are demons too. And like, it is totally messed up. Totally messed up. I say check out Escape from Tomorrow, if nothing else, for the novelty of it. So definitely, if you haven't seen that one, check it out. All right. So how many is that so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Coming in at number 8 is a very overlooked Tim Allen movie, and this has the late Kirstie Alley in it. And this is one that I used to just go to if I needed to laugh, not think, and just feel good. And it's almost like a comedy, somewhat comedic take on Witness in some ways. I'm talking about For Richer or Poorer. And what this is I think this is from 19... I didn't write it down. It's from the late 90s. Fairly certain. Might be a little later. Might be early 2000s. Yeah, it's on here, y'all, but I can't read it. It's too small. Anyway, For Richer or Poorer, what it is, it's another one of those that I bought previously viewed from Hollywood Video. What it is they are living the big city life. Tim Allen has this company that he runs, and they're living this extravagant life, him and his wife, in New York City, and they have everything, but they really have nothing because they're in debt up to their eyeballs, and their accountant has been totally robbing them blind. And the IRS comes to get them because of tax fraud and because they owe all this money and they don't even know it. And they run. They're, or maybe it's Chicago they're living in. Might be Chicago or New York. I can't remember. But they run to try to escape the IRS, and they end up in Amish country. It was New York. They end up in Amish country, and they overhear that this one Amish family is expecting their cousins. They're married. The cousins aren't married, but it's like a cousin who's married to someone else. So they're expecting their family, who they've never met in person, to come in town and stay with them. So they steal some clothes and assume these people's identity and live with this Amish family. And it is a complete fish out of water. It makes for some hysterical moments because they are upper crust New York rich, and now they're up at 4 a.m. having to work fields and beat rugs and weave rugs and can food and all this kind of stuff. And they're at odds with one another because their marriage is on the rocks and they were about to divorce and everything else. But this situation brings them back together. And it's a lot of fun, man. It is so ripe for jokes in this movie. Oh my gosh. You will laugh your ass off at For Richer or Poorer. All right. So just a couple of more here. And I keep looking at my list because I think I wrote down 11 or 12. And so I can't, I need to save some for next time. The next one up, I do not have either, and this is Shadow of the Vampire. And I just recently picked up Nosferatu from the Kino Lorber sale. And if you've ever seen Shadow of the Vampire, again, we got Willem Dafoe. Again, dude's got range. He's playing, was it Max Schreck who plays Nosferatu in the original. Or he plays in the original Nosferatu, but in this movie, you also have John Malkovich. He's the director of the movie, so it's about the filming of the movie Nosferatu. But Willem Dafoe plays. It's just so meta. It's like he plays the vampire who is playing the actor playing the vampire. So it's all like he really was a vampire in the movie, Nosferatu. And so it's got these comedy elements and for sure horror elements. Willem Dafoe is incredible. John Malkovich is really good. I think in the movie, John Malkovich realizes he's a real vampire and things like that. It is a super good movie. If you haven't seen Shadow of the Vampire, it's another one that I'm actually having a hard time tracking down on physical media. So if you guys know where I can get that in like the best form, the only thing I've seen is an expensive out of print DVD. So if you guys know of any other form on this, let me know. I remember like the last time I probably watched this movie on any physical media, I rented it on VHS, I feel like, from maybe a DVD from Blockbuster, because I went to Hollywood Video, or no, I went to Blockbuster and they didn't have it, and I went to Hollywood Video, and me and the dude like looked up because I couldn't even remember the title. But so, and I've seen it since then, but that was like on streaming, and now I can't find it on streaming. So if you guys know where to find that on physical media, please let me know, because I think Shadow of the Vampire is one of my favorite vampire movies. So super cool. Make sure you check it out if you haven't seen that one. And finally, is that it? Was that 10? I got one more for you, even if it was. Finally, there is another movie that is sort of a sci-fi comedy and sort of a sci-fi rom-com. And it's called Timer. And it stars Emma Caulfield, and who was on Buffy, and I think most recently she had a part in WandaVision. She was in the movie Darkness Falls with the evil Tooth Fairy. But she plays this role where it's not in like a distant future, but they get these at a certain point, like when they hit puberty or something, they get these watches that somehow can tell their not their fortune, but like their future, and it tells them when they are going to meet their soulmate at exact time, and then like it matches with your soulmate. So like some people get it and they may meet their soulmate when they're like both 13, and then they feel like they're stuck for the rest of their life with this person and all this. So like they have literally a countdown timer for it, and everybody is fitted with this. So, it takes like all spontaneity, everything out, like dating around is pretty much gone, trying to find someone and build a relationship's gone. Everybody's sitting around waiting for their match to be made. And of course, I think, Emma Caulfield, she bucks the system on this. She doesn't want to go by that. And it's just a really interesting, like heavy sci-fi theme put into a rom-com. And Emma Caulfield was super nice. Like she actually, the first couple of movies that I made, could not be a nicer person. She put out my stuff, like my Kickstarters and everything, and Indiegogo campaigns on social media. She even donated some money to it, and wished me luck on it. Super duper nice. And I really enjoyed the movie. It's very underrated. I never hear anybody talk about it. I don't know if it's on physical media. To be honest with you, I watched it on streaming the first time like maybe 10 years ago or so, and I've only seen it like once since then. And it popped into my head the other night when I have this stupid smartwatch here, and it like is tracking your heart rate and everything, and it all went blank recent, and it like, because it wasn't dead, it just like all stopped working, and I had to like reset it. And it made me think of that. The timer on it made me think of that movie Timer. So it's amazing how that can work. So some of these movies might be movies that you've seen, but maybe you've forgotten about, or kind of just like lost the time a little bit. And there was one other one pertinent for right now, but it's Eddie Murphy. So most of y'all have probably seen it. The Distinguished Gentleman. It basically just cracks on our, like, Washington, how it's ran, and it just points out, like, you know, us normal people, we just want our say, and we want to live our lives and not have people screw them up for us. And Eddie Murphy has a fun time with this. One's kind of raunchy too, pretty much very raunchy, actually, but a hell of a cast in this, because you've got Lane Smith in this, who in Son-in-Law was it, but I always think of him from My Cousin Vinny, the same make and model tire, when he's the prosecuting attorney. But dude's been in tons of stuff before he passed away. It also has Joe Don Baker is in this. Charles S. Dutton is in this. So it's got a nice little cast in it, and Eddie Murphy is absolutely great. I think this is more of one of his underrated movies, and it is a lot of fun, and you know, sticking up for us common people that just want to be able to afford groceries and rent and physical media and things like that, and get all this other BS out. So this is a fun little look at it. And that is my list. Let me know, have you guys seen any of these? And if they're ones that I said that I don't have, and you know where I can get them, Shadow of the Vampire, I am hunting hardcore. Let me know too. I've got the imprint of Fire in the Sky coming, but I haven't seen a 4K of that. That's a Blu-ray coming. So I'm looking for Shadow of the Vampire, and also Ponti Poool, Southbound, Timer, Escape from Tomorrow. I am looking for all those on physical media. All those are available on streaming if you want to check those out and try before you buy. Of course, I recommend buying on physical media, so let me know in the comments if you know where those are, and I will be picking them up too, because these are movies that I enjoy watching. Let me know, have you seen any of these? What do you think of them? All that kind of stuff. And if you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. For a couple dollars a month, you could consider joining the channel, being a pop culture friends, family, or pop culture icon. You can do that right here at the link on YouTube. Join here. Or you can join at my Patreon, where I can do a little bit more stuff that I can't put on YouTube, and get your shout outs and call outs and name up here, and free swag, free behind the scenes looks at my movies, all kinds of stuff. And it really does help me out. None of us are doing this to get rich, but it really does help, you know, keep us going, because it does require a lot of time to put into these and record and edit and all that kind of stuff. And if you enjoy it, you know, you don't have to do any of that to hang around. Just like, subscribe, and ring that bell, and continue to go on these pop culture adventures with me. And until next time, this is Chase with AV Pop Culture saying, be kind, rewind like always, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.